No, call them on the phone or the phone. I add an E to make it fit and say, hi, can you discount a little bit? And usually they'll be happy to agree. And that's why you should book directly. Now, let me try and get this hashtag down. Here's a little cause that I respect. You gotta make sure you book direct. Go to the hotel, go to the place. Don't do it through Google, a disgrace, or booking.com or hotel.com. No, call them on the phone or the phone. I add an E to make it fit and say, hi, can you discount a little bit? And usually they'll be happy to agree. And that's why you should book directly.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, welcome wherever you are tuning from in the world. And today is the start of a little series that I want to put together for the Boostly podcast, where I interview hosts from around the world. We're going to pick their brains and sort of find out a little bit more about them, find out their story. And then we're just going to have a little bit of a discussion about what they do to try and generate their own direct bookings and how they are coping, and especially with everything else that's been going on in 2020. I'm very lucky that in what we do with Boostly is that we have got hosts from all over the world. And I wanted today to start with somebody that I've been very fortunate to go and stay with, been able to meet, go and see their place, see their property, see their town, see their area, and have a good chat with. And let me bring you on in the live with me. Helen, Villa Andalucia in Competa, Spain. Thank you very much for joining us. Can you please just start off with, before we get into our chat, can you just start off by introducing yourself and just sort of tell your story about how you got into hospitality and into where we are right now and chatting live on Facebook, talking about all things direct bookings.
Oh my God, how long have you got?
As long as we need. The platform is all yours. Let's show you off to the world.
Okay, hello. I'm Helen, and I have been in the hospitality world over here in Spain for 14 years. My background prior to coming over in Spain was working for Barclays Bank for 32 years. Also, during that time, me and my husband, we were in the hospitality industry in the fact of having businesses, a fish and chip shop first time round, and secondly, we had a off-license corner shop, and my parents used to keep a pub. So all my life I have dealt with customers and money and opening hours, so it's in a way it's been nothing new to me in doing that, and obviously doing food as well. So I came to Spain. The main reason for coming over to Spain to live here was because I do have MS and multiple sclerosis, and I'm far healthier in a warmer climate. And so that's, in a nutshell, a little story about me, putting it down dramatically.
Yes, yeah. When we came to go stay, so Laura, the boys, and I, we came down to stay. We had some good chats. We found out, and there is a long story behind it, and that is the very sort of diluted version. So thank you for sharing. So why Competa? Why did you sort of settle on this area of Spain? Because there's so many destinations that you could potentially choose from. There's many people in the hospitality community, and obviously the groups. You can see people settle all over. So what was it that drew you into Competa?
Well, we had timeshare in Nerja, which is in the Costa del Sol, where I am not far from at all. And we basically, every school holidays, we came over to Spain because for me, dry heat was a lot better. So I got to know the whole of the Costa del Sol, all the way down to Portugal, and done all the timeshares. And one day I actually drove up to Competa on my own. I wanted a bit of a break away, and I just fell in love with the place. And it was a horrible journey. I'm talking, 20 odd years ago, and there were no barriers on the road, and you travelled the road. Mm-hmm. For some people it can be a bit daunting, but I just sort of fell in love with the place, and it grew on me. And I thought, right, Costa del Sol's not far away from England. It was flights were becoming cheap. Ryanair had started, and basically thought this is the place we want to be.
And this is it, and here we are still. So what I would love for everybody to do, whether you're watching live or on the replay right now, just tell us where you are watching this from, because this is, like I say, this is a part of a series that I do want to put together where we interview hosts from around the world and chat about their businesses. And if you want to come on to do one of these interviews and have a chat, then please get in touch, mark@boostly.co.uk. So tell us where you are watching from in the world, your business, your website. Give yourself a little bit of a promo and a bit of a plug, because you never know who is going to be watching this back on the replay. Okay, so we've got we're in Competa. We've opened up the business. What was the first thing, if you remember back to then, what was the first thing that you did? So you opened the business, and it's like, right, now we've got to get heads on beds. Now we've got to get people through the doors. What was like the first thing that you were doing back then to sort of spread the word about the business? What was the first sort of marketing tactics that you were doing back then?
Oh, right, 14 years ago. Right, okay, we got somebody to build a website for us, and he was very good with SEO. And at the time, there was only myself and 2 other B&Bs in Competa, whereas like now, I just honestly can't tell you how many places, service accommodations, etc. that there are here. So it was quite easy for me to get sort of recognised word of mouth, and even now I would say 60 to 70% of my direct bookings are repeat bookings. So it wasn't too hard to do, and I think a bit of my background as well, and going back 14 years ago, I'd got MailChimp. Now MailChimp was nothing like it is now, and it was just really a newsletter. Yeah. No automations or anything like that. So I started to build up my database quite early on.
Let's just dial back a little bit. Can you just tell everybody that doesn't know you, because we've got a lot of people who are in the live chat who obviously do know you from being in the hospitality community in the Boostly Academy, but can you explain to somebody who doesn't know what Villa Andalucia is, just explain what the business model is, if you don't mind, just for a couple of minutes.
Oh no! Yes, let's myself. Villa Andalucia. It's bed and breakfast. I've got 4 rooms. We're in a beautiful area. I call it my little hidden gem up in the mountains. Fantastic swimming pool, crystal clear water, looking down to the coast, surrounded by mountains, and it's 4 bedrooms. 2 of them are sort of come on, Mark, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-catering.
Yes, I was going to say a kitchenette inside. Yeah.
They've got kitchenettes. So I offer people to they can have breakfast if they want. If not, some of them can cater for themselves.
Yeah, I fully recommend the breakfast. Every morning we had breakfast. We're out on the garden, looking out over the view as the clouds were coming in. It was lovely. In the swimming pool, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is where Frankie first learned to swim with his little wobble, 1 year old, kicking and flapping away. Yeah, lots of amazing memories. And it's really interesting to me how you were saying that a lot of your bookings are repeat guests, because it is that experience stay. You know, it's one of those places where you will make memories and you come back and keep coming back to. So yeah, fantastic work. And 14 years in. So in these 14 years of owning the business, running the business, marketing the business, bringing people in, what has been, would you say, the biggest shift for you personally? And we're talking solely on marketing, because this is obviously like a marketing podcast, it's what we do. What's been the biggest shift online that you have seen when you're having to sort of promote the business and talk about the business and how to attract guests?
Well, obviously I didn't really have to do that much at the beginning, because as I say, it was repeat businesses all the time, and I never thought I would spend as many hours as I do now back in front of a laptop PC again. Yeah. Because when I thought bed and breakfast, it was just thinking, oh, people come and stay, I'll look after them, tell them all about the area, etc. I didn't think I would have to start thinking, how am I going to promote myself? How am I going to get people here? Because Booking.com was around, and we tried to advertise with them, and they would not allow anybody unless they had 10 bedrooms or more. So we were out of it completely. And it wasn't until 2014, 15?
Say 2014, 2015, yeah.
I wanted a hotel to stay in near to Manchester Airport before I flew away on holiday. And I thought, oh, I'll have a look on Booking.com and saw, oh, what's this? Bed and breakfast. And I thought, is this one of the reasons why I'm not getting as many people coming to stay with me anymore? And it was so easy for me to book a room. And I thought, yeah, this is going to start hitting me. And Airbnb, I didn't really know anything about that. I was on holiday in Barbados, and everybody said, oh, we booked through Airbnb. And I'm thinking, I need to look into these things. And that was like the start of it, of thinking my time is going to be spent more trying to get myself noticed out there. And then I'd gone through a divorce and I needed money, and I'm thinking, I've got to do something now.
So you're talking about Airbnb, Booking.com. Did you take the plunge and get listed on there, or did you sort of resist it and keep going down the direct booking route? What was like the sort of the transition from 2014, 2015 for the next couple of years?
Oh, I went with them. And the fact that you've got to make them, this is something that you say to everybody as well, make them work for you, because I'd rather have 75% of something and give them 15% than have nothing. And so basically that's what I did. I did go ahead with them.
Yeah. And so obviously at the same time, because obviously you're very active on social media, active on Facebook now, when did you start to look at that as a platform that you could promote your business on there? What sort of year are we talking here?
Oh, that's only been in the past like 4 years or so. To me, Facebook was just like keeping in touch with my son, because he was in the UK.
Yeah.
And that was it basically. And you could see how it was going, that you could people were advertising, and I'm thinking, I'm not paying for advertising. And it wasn't until I was at the stage where I started to lose my confidence, which a lot of people say to me, oh, I can't believe that. But I did, because the bookings weren't coming in as fast and furious as they were before, and I'd got to do something about it. So I did sort of start looking and seeing that, I think it was on LinkedIn I went on first, because I'm a background, thinking of going on there, and found somebody that did coaching, and sort of started going down that line then. Yeah,
so social media came in sort of 2017, and obviously you're now very active on social media, Facebook. I see the posts a lot, and obviously a part of the hospitality community, and now the Boostly Academy. So what would you say would have been the problems that you were having before you discovered like the Boostly Academy world, before you discovered me? What would you say like the problems were that you were having when it came to sort of figuring all of this out?
Well, I could see how I didn't know enough about it all, and I needed to learn about it. And I could see like you could be, Booking.com was great. You just go on and you book, and then I went onto somebody else's site and thinking they've got, as I didn't even know they were called booking engines in those days or whatever. And I'm thinking, I need something like that, and I need help. So I needed to do something then, and obviously came across the hospitality community, and there were so many other people that were in the same boat as me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So obviously you came into the hospitality community, started to figure it all out. So how did you actually find the hospitality community, which I always find is really interesting? Was it just a search, or did somebody recommend it? Like, how did you first join our hospitality community group?
well, I've been in another coaching group, and that hadn't worked out at all. It was more of, you do as I say and change things. And so it wasn't working out. And I think it was somebody who used to be in that same coaching group who had put on Facebook, or she'd commented on something, and hospitality community came up, and I went on to it then. And you did, I think I joined with you before doing one of your giveaways, and it might have been the email that you have mentioned on the, I think it probably was the email that you mentioned on the end of this like giveaway, and I had a go at that, and I actually got 2 big bookings off it, and I thought, this guy knows what he's doing here.
Yeah. Well, the email that you're talking about, sorry to jump in, the email you're talking about is a do you know anyone email. So again, what we do is, a lot of the time as business owners, we always maybe just forget that some of the best ways to get bookings is to sort of ask our previous guests who know the place, know the property, for referrals. And it's something that we don't do. And sometimes, like Helen said, send an email out, structured it in a way that you could just copy and paste it and personalize it. And yeah, it's great to hear that you get some success, and a lot of people do get some success from it. So you sent out the email, got a couple of bookings, and thought, hang on a second, this guy, he might know what he's talking about. So from there you joined the academy, which is fantastic. And that was, I think we're talking 18 months ago now. So
it's only about 18 months ago, because September was my first giveaway. That was my first giveaway. And so I didn't hesitate. Before I was hesitating because I like my money, but I did. You know what you talk about. You're so passionate about what you do, and well you are, and you've already tried and tested everything before you give it to anybody to do as well. So there was no hesitation whatsoever to sign up, and I like the fact that I didn't have to pay it all in one go as well, because at the time I couldn't have afforded to do it, but I did it, and no regrets whatsoever.
If you're watching this, by the way, and you want to find out a little bit more about what Helen is talking about, just head over to boostly.co.uk/join. Talking about the Boostly Academy, there's lots of different ways to join. There's lots of that page and that website that you go to explains everything what it's about. If you're interested, please do head over there. So let's talk about, from the 18 months that we've sort of been together, what's been some of the new tactics that you've maybe learned? What has worked? What maybe hasn't worked? How have you attributed to what I've been sort of teaching, and how have you taken it from, obviously my family business was based in the UK, you're in Spain. What have you learned, and what have you been able to put into practice, and what has worked? So let's see if we can share some tactics and tips for the people that are tuning in live or on the replay.
I think what's basically helped me along is like all the templates that were there, and setting up automations. Yes, I had got that with my previous coach, but yours seem to be more sort of down to earth, and people seem to resonate with what you're putting out there. And I think one of the big things for me is you wouldn't have got, well, that's probably wrong. I lost my confidence after I moved over here. I think, I don't know, leaving the bank or whatever, and then seeing that I didn't know where I was going and I had to do something. I now am back to the confident person I was when I left work, when I semi-retired, and I could stand in front of 1,000, 2,000 people and talk before, and I'd lost all that, and I can do it now, and it doesn't bother me doing a live now or anything. You've given me the confidence back for doing that, and you don't push us, you leave us to get on with it. Like when we went into lockdown, there was so much, I couldn't cope with it, going on to the hospitality community, listening to people and all the negativity. I had to take myself away from it because it was pulling me down. And I know that I can come back whenever I want into Boostly and pick up where I was left off. And any questions, you'd be there. You, as you say, you're not going anywhere, and you haven't gone anywhere. You're going to be there, and it's good from that point of view. And at times I've said to you, I feel that you bombard us at times with too much, and I can't cope with it. You know, so...
I'm just nudging away. I leave you to get on with it, and I'll just nudge, and if somebody wants to act, they can, or they just go, oh, be quiet, Mark, leave me alone. You can just turn the phone off. No, it's amazing. You have done really, really well. And again, thank you so much for coming on onto this live and sharing your story. And obviously this year has been crazy for everybody around the world, related to not just hospitality, but every business. And what has been, would you say, one of the big sort of things that you have done this year since coming out of lockdown, being able to take bookings? Where have you noticed that the majority of your guests have come from? What have you done differently than what maybe you had to do before lockdown? And what could you maybe pass on? Final question would be, what advice would you pass on to maybe somebody else in Spain, or just somebody else all over the world that maybe has had to pivot slightly, and what type of guests that they are attracting?
Well, I've had to pivot from the fact that majority of my visitors are from northern Spain. They're not all English. No, normally I've got the Belgians, the Swedes, Norwegians, etc. And of course they haven't been able to come, so I've had to change my thought. And I know I've lived here for quite a while, but not enough for me to write a Facebook post in Spanish. So I've had to take on somebody to help me to do that and to translate it for me. And because I'm up in the mountains, 30 minutes from the coast, in one of the lovely whitewashed villages up here, there are people that live down on the coast, expats, not just English again, the Belgians, etc., who've never even ventured up into the mountains. So I've had to sort of go out and promote myself on the groups, Facebook groups out there, like the buy, sell groups. Yep. I've been and put myself out on there. I've actually gone on to more websites that are aimed at people that live down on the coast, just to bring them up here. And I also got in with one of the local yoga teachers and got her to come, and we've done yoga classes outside because she can't do them inside. What a better place to do it than round the pool. And so she did that, and then I said, oh, okay, I'll offer doing a breakfast. So I gave people breakfast.
It's a great idea. You've hit the nail on the head on some really good tactics there that everybody can be doing. Number one, building relationships with other local businesses in the area. Number two, if you're looking for a real quick sort of short win to try and maybe get bookings, these local Facebook groups that are in and around you right now are really useful for it, because again, not a lot of people are utilizing them. And you know, at the moment with staycations, people are driving maybe a maximum 2 to 3 hours, the majority. So if you can just draw a big circle on a map around your property, look at where the towns, the cities, or the locations may be, and just sort of have a little search on Facebook. I mean, how long did it take you to find these groups, Helen? Would you say a couple of minutes, 20, 30 minutes? Did you have to look far and wide, or was it pretty simple to do?
In a way, it was pretty simple to do, because, as I say, I'm 30 minutes. I'm only 17 kilometres from the coast, but 30 minutes driving up. So I just went for for the local ones, 40 minutes away. But I have also expanded now to like an hour away.
Yeah, fantastic. I think those are really really fantastic tactics that everybody can be definitely taken away with. And I just want to say thank you so much. So before we let you go, I do want you to give the business a big plug. So where's the best place that they can go to find out more about you? Have you got a favorite social media? Have you got an email list? Like, how can people keep in touch with you after this if they are watching and want to maybe check out a little bit more about Helen and Villa Andalucia?
Well, actually, I do have this wonderful site that's done by boostly.uk. And so you can go along to villaandalucia.org and find me on there. There's a nice pop-up that comes up, and you can put your email in there, and you can find out all about getting my digital guidebook, which tells you all about the area, etc. And I am more so on Facebook than anywhere else. I tend to enjoy being on there more, but I am also on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Thank you so much for doing that. It was an absolute pleasure, and I just want to say thank you very much for tuning in. If you have liked what we have done today and you would like to do more, maybe you would like to come on with me and showcase your business and let us know what you've been doing, then all I would love for you to do, send an email to mark@boostly.co.uk. We'll have a look at some dates and we will get you on to the show. So this is the Boostly podcast that we are recording it for. If you want to go check out the previous episodes, then all you need to do is head to boostly.co.uk/podcast. Helen, again, thank you very much, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be back again very soon for another episode, but until then, keep direct bookings, keep being proactive, and really, really focus on one tactic right now that you can do, whether it's Facebook groups, whether it is building relationships, and let us know how you get on.